everyone.
Good morning.
You know, we like to have fun and celebrate life every day. So in lieu of that, we want to just perform for you a poem. It's called Casey at the Bat. Now, during the All-Staff meeting just this past week, Mr. Pruitt asked a trivia question about where did our CEO, Andy Smith, go to college. He went to Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt just won their first national title in any sport. It happened to be in baseball. So this poem is very fitting for this presentation this morning. So at this time, we're going to present to you Casey at the Bat. The outlook wasn't brilliant for the Mudville Nine that day. The score stood 4-2 with but one more inning to play. And when County died at first and the Barrels did the same, a pall-like silence fell upon the patrons of the game. A straggling few got up to go into deep despair. The rest clung to the hope which springs eternal in the human breast. They thought,
If only Casey could get a whack at that, we'd give up money now with Casey at the bat.
but Flynn preceded Casey, as did also Jimmy Blake. And the former was a hoodoo, and the latter was a cake. So upon the stricken multitude, grim melancholy sat, for there seemed but little chance of Casey getting to bat. But Flynn let drive a single to the wonderment of all, and Blake, the much despised, tore the cover off the ball. And when the dust had lifted and the men saw what had occurred, there was Jimmy safe at second and Flynn a hugging third.
Then, from 5,000 throats, there rose a lusty yell. It rumbled through the valley, it rattled in the dell. It pounded on the mountain, it recoiled on the flat. For Casey, mighty Casey, was advancing to the bat. There was ease in Casey's manner as he stepped into his place. There was pride in Casey's bearing, and a smile lit Casey's face. Really? And when responding to the cheers, he lightly doffed his hat. No stranger could doubt 'twas Casey at the bat. 10,000 eyes were on him as he rubbed his hands in dirt. 5,000 tongues applauded when he wiped them on his shirts. Then, while the
Thank you.
Then, while the writhing pitcher ground the ball into his hip, defiance flashed in Casey's eyes, and a sneer curled Casey's lips. And now the leather-covered sphere came hurtling through the air, and Casey stood a-watching it in haughty grandeur there. Close by the sturdy batsman, the ball unheeded sped.
That ain't my style,
Said Casey. Strike one, the umpire said. From the bench, from the benches black with people there went up a muffled roar, like the beating of the storm waves on a stern and distant shore. Kill him! Kill the umpire! Someone shouted in the stands, and it's likely they would have killed him had not Casey raised his hand. With a smile of Christian charity, grave Casey's visage shone. He stilled the rising tumult and bade the game go on. He signaled to the pitcher, and once more the dumb sphere flew. But Casey still ignored it, and the umpire cried, "Strike two!" "Fraud!" cried the maddened crowds, and the echo answered, "Fraud!" But one scornful look from Casey, and the audience was awed. Then they saw his face grow stern and cold. They saw his muscles strained. They knew that Casey wouldn't let that ball go by again. The sneer is gone from Casey's lips. His teeth are clenched with hate. He pounds with cruel violence his bat upon the plate. And now the pitcher holds the ball, and now he lets it go. And now the air is shattered by the force of Casey's blow. Somewhere in this favored land, The sun is shining bright. The band is playing somewhere, and somewhere hearts are light.
And somewhere men are laughing, and somewhere children shout. But there's no joy in Mudville, for mighty Casey has struck out.